Remember back when movies were just about having fun? Okay, everybody, today we're going all the way back to 1978 to look at a little hidden gem in the Burt Reynolds catalog that sometimes doesn't get talked about as much as the other flicks. We're talking about 1978's Hooper. A fun ride with nothing more to it than that. But before we go any further, before we dig into this gem anymore, once and again, and as always, to the trailer.
Burt Reynolds is Hooper, and Hooper is a real hero. He can take more crashes. Oh, jeez! More fire.
Ah. Hello, gorgeous.
More love. More hits. He can take more risks and have more fun than anyone can imagine. This is Hooper, the story of the greatest stuntman of them all, and his competition.
I waited a year and a half to meet you. How's that? I get to perform with Sonny Hooper. Oh, hell, that ain't no big deal. I mean,
Burt Reynolds, Jan-Michael Vincent, Sally Field.
I'm yours.
Brian Keith, James Best, Robert Klein, and Terry Bradshaw. In Hooper's world, talk is cheap, and life is cheaper.
we may be in trouble.
A stunt is a gag, and a gag is no laughing matter.
Bang! Building falls on you, crushes you, fade out the end. Great, Roger. Of course, we'll have a dozen cameras going.
And when the director yells,
Action! Go! 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 I want to hit it!
he really means action. Hooper's in a dangerous business, but his reward is excitement, adventure, and a fortune if he lives to collect it. Burt Reynolds is Hooper, the greatest stuntman alive.
I love stuntmen.
Hooper, the newest movie from the team that brought you Smokey and the Bandit.
Okay, this motion picture was directed by Hal Needham. Now legend. We're talking about one of the all-time great, if not greatest stuntmen in the history of motion pictures. Stuntman legend, at one time the highest paid in the world, and one of the greatest stunt coordinators in the world. This guy is the top of the food chain, but he also directed some flicks, and that's what we're here to look at. We're talking about he's done motion pictures like Smokey and the Bandit, not just one, but number two, and The Villain, and Stroker Ace, and Body Slam, and The Cannonball Run, not just one, but two, and a little gem called Megaforce, and that real shitty Bandit TV show that was floating around that was kind of like a whatever, let's not even discuss it. Anyway, did some stuff you'll recognize, and obviously he worked with a certain individual a whole lot. Alright, playing Sonny Hooper. We're talking about Burt Reynolds himself. Let's dig, folks. We're talking he was in Deliverance. He was in The Longest Yard, Smokey and the Bandit, Gator, White Lightning, The End, The Cannonball Run, Semi-Tough, Stroker's Ace, Sharky's Machine, and Paternity, and Striptease, and Boogie Nights. And he was on that TV show that was very successful, Evening Shade. So, Burt Reynolds, come on, man. You guys remember how big that guy was in the fucking 70s? Bam! Legend. Playing Ski, the late, could have been great, Jan-Michael Vincent. Let's hit this. We're talking about he has badass stuff like The Mechanic, and Defiance, which I already reviewed, and Coming Home, and Baby Blue Marine, and Vigilante Force, and Damnation Alley, which is legendary, and The World's Greatest Athlete, and Big Wednesday, and White Line Fever, and a bunch of TV shows, including where he played Stringfellow Hog on Airwolf, just the way it was. Playing Gwen, looking as cute and as hot as she's ever looked, Sally Field. Let's kick it. We're talking about she is better than stuff like Norma Ray, and Heroes, and The End, and Smokey and the Bandit, and Steel Magnolias, and Places in the Heart, and Murphy's Romance, and Absence of Malice, and Stay Hungry, and Miss Doubtfire, and Not Without My Daughter, Forrest Gump. So, the list is long, everybody. The list is long. Playing Jocko, I don't think I've ever had a chance to talk about him in any review before. That's crazy. Brian Keith. Let's kick it. We're talking about he has been in stuff like The Parent Trap and The Pleasure Seekers and The Russians Are Coming. The Russians Are Coming. And The Wind and the Lion. And a lot of TV. We're talking, The Westerner and Insight and Archer and Centennial and Hardcastle and McCormick and Heartland. And he was on a cute show that I loved. I'm sure a lot of people my age did when we were kids, and that was called Family Affair. So, hey man, was in a bunch of shit, was a whole bunch of shit. Guy was just like, doesn't get remembered enough, pisses me off. Playing Max, John Marley. Let's go. We're talking about he has been in stuff like The Godfather and The Greatest and Cat Ballou and The Car, which I reviewed, and It Lives Again, and Death Dream, and Love Story, and on TV he was in Sea Hunt, and The Untouchables, and Rawhide, and Cannon, and Medical Center, and Beretta, and Mannix. So, guy was in a bunch of stuff. You recognize his face. He had one of those faces, he's like, boop, you know him. Playing Roger, Robert Klein. Was around a bit. We're talking about he was in stuff like The Owl and the Pussycat, and The Gypsy, and The Pursuit of Happiness, and Mixed Nuts, and TV like Sisters and Law and Order, and Mad About You, and Frasier, and King of Queens, and Murder, She Wrote, and The Good Wife. And really, he was a stand-up comedian. Mostly, I never really got him as a stand-up comedian. Never at all. I was a Richard Pryor, George Carlin guy, you know what I mean? So to me, his stand-up was always like, but whatever. He's been in some fucking TV movies and shit. Let's go. Playing Cully, James Best. Oh, we're going to enjoy this. Let's roll. We're talking about he has been in motion pictures like Winchester 73, The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, Apache Drums, Kansas Raiders, Shenandoah, The Killer's Shrews. In like TV, we're talking, Wagon Train and Rawhide and Have Gun Will Travel and Ben Casey and Bonanza. Basically, if there was a cowboy, he was in it. But we will always remember him the most. Forever. For being Roscoe P. Coltrane. Come on, man. Dukes of Hazzard, the fucking show is the shit. Ooh. And also, keep an eye out, because there's a whole bunch of other really cool people in this motion picture. I can't name them all. We'll be here all day. But we're talking about the one and only legendary Batman himself. Adam West was in this motion picture. We're talking about legendary football player and Pittsburgh Steeler Terry Bradshaw was in this thing. We're talking about Alfie Wise, who you're going to remember, but he wasn't a star, but he popped up in so many Burt Reynolds flicks. And there's a couple others in there, and I'm just going to give you hints. Just think of the movie Looker. You'll see a familiar face. Just think of the movie The Deep. You'll see a familiar face. There's a lot of people in this thing. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, everybody, I'm going to keep this to 90 seconds or less so we can keep it fast, keep it entertaining, keep it moving, keep it going so we can get to where we all have the most fun, which is the summation. And you know it. You have Sonny Hooper. He is the leading, dominant, world-famous stuntman on all of motion pictures. But there's one problem. He's getting old, and he's all busted up. He goes out, films his scenes, loads up on pain pills, and goes on to the next adventure. And he's part of this group of stuntmen. They're all a little bit wacky. They're old school. Their idea of fun is driving down the highway backwards and getting hammered and getting in bar fights and doing all kinds of shit that you just don't see done anymore. Well, he's working on a motion picture, and in comes this new young hotshot who's going to be the new Sonny Hooper. And he is on the scene to break in and make a name for himself. He's a respectful kid, like Sonny Hooper. They all kind of get along, but he is there to be the next man of the hour, and he's going to take Sonny's place, which in a way keeps Sonny a little bit motivated and keeps getting him to push himself farther when he really shouldn't, because Sonny's got a problem. His back is all but destroyed. One more wrong stunt, and he's going to be in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. Throw into the mix that he's got a girlfriend, Sally Field looking cute, who really doesn't want him doing this crap anymore. And when she finds out that this final stunt that he signed up to do with this young hotshot up-and-comer might just leave him in a wheelchair for the rest of his life, well, obviously, there's going to be problems. Will they pull off this stunt? Will he go ahead with it? Will he break his girlfriend's heart? Will his producer friend back him? Or just go out and belly up? Who knows? I'm not going to tell you. You're going to find out. Yeah, I mean, you can probably guess it. Anyway, let's get going to the summation. Okay, everybody, what makes Hooper great? Hooper is one of those all-time fun flicks from an age when people knew how to make movies just for fun. Let me get the junk out of the way before we go any further and explain what I mean. The directing, come on, I gave you the list of movies. It's Hal Needham. He makes fun movies with a lot of stunts in them and a lot of goofy shit taking place. That's basically it. You're not going to get anything that's framed like super gorgeous. You're not going to get anything that's over the top. He's not Spielberg, but he directed some fun movies, gave him a cool look, did what he did, plain and simple. The writing is the writing. I mean, come on. You remember all those movies from that period of time, from, the Cannonball Run flicks, the Smokey and the Bandit flicks. The writing's decent. Half the time you feel like they're just ad-libbing and throwing shit out into the wind and seeing how it sticks. It is what it is. Don't expect too much. And the acting, come on, let's be honest. It's a bunch of actors together, acting enough to keep the story going, and basically having a good time filming a flick. That's kind of what you got in that era of Burt Reynolds movies. But that's not the point. That's not why you're there, to see great acting. You're there to have fun, which is why we're going to get back on track with what I was talking about. As I said, this is a motion picture that came from a time when people just knew how to make a movie and have a good time. There was no messages. There was no political shit. There was nothing about morality in it. This was a motion picture just meant to have a great time. And you remember what motion pictures like that with Burt Reynolds in them were like during that era. Burt was never the kind of guy who was too shy or too above the fact of he's just going to look into the camera and play to the audience. Not even in a theater, as I said, to a movie audience. He knows there's going to be a packed house of people sitting in a cinema someplace, and at one point or another, he's just going to get to the screen, which was really unheard of. Nobody would do shit like that. Nobody would do stuff like that at the time. It was really kind of like, wow, what is this guy doing? And then at the end of the movies, he would always acknowledge the audience in some way, which he does in this one again. It's one of those movies where they know they're just giving you a movie. You're supposed to know they're just giving you a movie, and you're supposed to know it's just about having fun. None of this kind of stuff is realistic, and none of it takes place in a realistic way. Nobody is going to film a stuntman scene at the end of a movie that's like 12 minutes long in one giant take. They are not. They break it up, they film the stunt, they move on to the next stunt. There would never be 400 cameras available to film every part of these guys driving through a town and a city and doing all this kind of goofy shit. It doesn't work that way. Is there a complaint with the movie? I guess that's it, because it steps out of the world of realism so far where you're just like, okay, whatever. No stuntman is roaming around the back of movie lots just to make a point, crashing through sets and driving off in cars that were built and smashing them, and then everybody laughs about it. Movies are money, and nobody's going to be wasting that kind of money, and nobody's going to be doing this kind of stupid shit. But that's not the point. The point of this motion picture is you're supposed to sit back, enjoy it, laugh, have a good time with a group of actors that were basically there saying, we're just having a good time, and we want you to have a good time. Don't think about it. It'll wreck this piece of shit. Enjoy it, roll with it, experience it, have fun with it, and then go on to the next thing in your life. You don't need to reflect. You don't need to dive deep. You just need to sit down, slam some popcorn in your face, guzzle down whatever carbonated shit you're chugging on, and have fun smiling. Everybody, if you get a shot, go check out Hooper. Is it as great as something like Deliverance? No. Is it as legendary as something like Smokey and the Bandit? No. Is it as ass crazy and completely shit nuts as the Cannonball Run flicks? Nada. And is it his most dynamic acting, talking from Burt Reynolds' point of view, ever done to celluloid? No. But at the end of the motion picture, when all is said and done, and the credits pop up on the screen, and the lights come down, I can almost guarantee you, you're going to have some kind of smile on your face. You're going to feel a little bit better, and you're going to feel like, man, I'm happier than when I went in. All right, everybody, take care. Be good. Stay out of trouble. Watch this flick, loaded with stunts. It's really a bunch of stunts with a movie around it. I should have added that in before, but I'm adding it in now. It's a bunch of stunts with a movie around it, and you'll enjoy it. Be good. Take care. Stay out of trouble. And, as always, look out for a friend. Be kind to a stranger. But most of all, never, and I mean ever, take any bullshit from anybody. See you soon.